So what do the Hornets do from here? Welcome back, Trust the Buzz. I make Charlotte Hornets content, so that introduce. Make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. But what should the Charlotte Hornets do now? I wish I could tell you. I said on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, I'll put the comment or the link down in the description box below. That the reason I don't really make a lot of videos, and as much as I really want to, like I love this stuff. I love talking basketball. I love talking hoops at all levels. It's really hard to talk about the Hornets, particularly because it's been the same thing 3 years in a row. Injuries, players not performing in the way you want them to. Like, it's just been the same thing. And mainly injuries. Mainly injuries. But yeah, I don't know what to expect going forward. Like, we're 6-14 right now. We're losing games that, we're in games that we probably shouldn't be in. We're losing games that we probably should win. It's just a roller coaster ride. We luckily just now got Nick Richards and Mark Williams back. Mark Williams looked at, as expected, someone who missed a year of basketball at the center position, who just came off a back and foot injury. Nick Richards has been pretty good. A solid player. I told y'all I came around to Nick Richards. I think he's a lot better than I've given him credit for, even though I always said he was one of the best backups in the league. My thing was I didn't know where we were on Mark, and continuously putting Nick out there and expecting him to play like a starting caliber center when he's definitely just a very good backup center. Just one, it wasn't fair to him, and two, just made him look worse than what he was. So I've sat back and admitted, like, okay, I still don't, like it per se, but I get it. Like, I get that, that's not really what he's supposed to be doing. And it's not like he's paid as a starting center anyway. But yeah, we got those two guys back, and it does make a difference as far as rebounding and whatnot. We're maybe a week and a half away from Tre Mann and LaMelo Ball being, I wouldn't say back, but reevaluated. I don't really know where we are with Miles, but I'm suspecting he just won't be out that long. It seemed like to me the Miles situation was just, to my recollection, I don't think Miles has seriously been injured since he's been in the NBA, if I can remember correctly. So I think he just, you have to get used to getting injured, as crazy as that sounds. So he hasn't been able to bounce back the way he thought he would. So that's why he played and then kind of, again. And then Grant Williams is out for the season. With that being said, I still don't know. The East is weak. There's still a lot of injuries going on in the NBA. But I still don't know where we go going forward. Now, I've been on this, I almost said podcast, but I've been on this channel saying I do not expect them to make the playoffs. LaMelo's playing out of his mind. I thought the team was kind of gelling well. We just weren't healthy, especially, going into the season with no big at all. And Diabate has been a great find. But that still, to me, wasn't enough to generate playoff, implications to me. East, like I said, is weak, even weaker than I thought. It just doesn't seem like we can get everything to align in time to have that happen. I know, like I said, LaMelo and Tre may only be out for another week and a half. Miles may be only out for another week and a half. But it just doesn't seem as though we're going to be able to get everything together in order to have the success I think we're looking for. And success, I use that very, very, loosely, because I think success for us is just, let's get to the play-in and we'll figure it out. Next year, I'm taking playoff or bust. And I'm not, unless the East is dominant, I'm not taking 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm taking 6. Like, that's where we need to be. But this year, I really didn't expect us to make the playoffs, and I still don't. But I just expect a little more. Like, we get in these games and then we cannot finish them. Like, I think our last 7 or 8 games, I think maybe the Orlando game was the last time we lost by double digits. But before then, we're within single digits, and we just can't close out games. We take the lead late or make it or tie it late and just cannot close out. And that's something you're going to have to learn. I don't think that's a skill level thing. Now, granted, we're missing players. Like, LaMelo is missing. A guy who I think was 10th in the first initial MVP voting that they did at the beginning, or not in the beginning of the season, but a couple weeks ago. So huge, huge. That's a huge miss. Tre Mann, huge miss. Miles Bridges, huge miss. And talent is going to make it where we don't go by 20. We don't go down by 20 in these games, but it's still not necessarily going to equate to closing out these tough games. And that's something we're going to have to learn to do. That's something you're going to learn how to do with everybody. You can't learn to do it with half the team and then not do it with the other half of the team. So getting everybody together, to me, is what I value the most. Just getting everybody to play together. I don't want us to get blown out necessarily, but I wouldn't mind us losing those games. And not saying I'm rooting for us to lose, but more so If we lose, it is what it is. I just want to get the repetitions. I just want to get the reps. Then maybe if the East is still weak, I mean, the team is talented enough. We're definitely going to string together some wins. So maybe if we kind of get that team together, maybe make a trade or two, because I think missing Grant Williams is going to be huge. And that doesn't necessarily mean his counting stats, but just his versatility, offensively, defensively, and just being a guy on the I almost said the court. I meant the field, but on the court, as far as the talk to the refs, like, and then they call the foul. Like, those are just small things that we do not have that Grant Williams provided, and it's just not going to be easy to replace that, because I think he was just very efficient at that role, and I think that's the perfect role for a guy like Grant. So yeah, I don't know what to expect going forward. I really just want to see us play. That's really it. I just want us to get healthy. And I say this, like I said, I'm not rooting for us to lose, but I don't care if we lose, because that wasn't my expectation in the beginning. But I just really, really need us to just all be on the floor. Can we do that? If we can do that, like I said, a couple wins are going to come. The team is too talented to not win some of these games just based off sheer talent. And then we can do that. Then that's when I say that, okay, we learn how to close out games, and we get a little better in the fourth quarter, and we don't go down by 20. That will allow us to, where if there's any sliver of hope by the end of the season that we can make it, I think we'll be prepared enough to make that final stretch to maybe sneak into the play-in and then just get the experience and maybe not get blown out by 30 in a play-in game. That's all I'm looking for this season. If we lose, we lose. As far as, I'm not for tanking necessarily, even though it does feel like at times that we feel like we're tanking. I know injuries are not calculated. I feel like some people misconstrue what I'm trying to say. I don't feel like the injuries are calculated, but I do feel as though they're just extremely cautious. And you're extremely cautious because what is there to win at this point? That's how I feel about it. The Hornets truly don't benefit from making the playoffs. Because they lose the pick, which you can say what you want about the pick. Now, if they want to trade the pick to get better, and then I'm cool with that. But I think that it might just be best to get the pick. It allows you to, make some other guys expendable, and then you can kind of build up your bench a little bit. That's how I see it. But I do agree with people who say LaMelo's having a fantastic season when he was playing. Do you really want that to go to waste? And you don't want to make him upset. And I get all of those things. This is my understanding. This is my hope. Jeff Peterson said he talked to LaMelo. I think he said he put LaMelo and Charles Lee in a room or in a discussion and said, this is our plan going forward. And LaMelo bought in. Now, we all know the politics of that. It could be lying, could be just trying to, save face. There's a lot of things that could be happening. But I have no reason to believe he's, fibbing or whatnot. So my thing is, I'm just going to take his word for it. And that LaMelo is bought in. And if LaMelo is bought in, then he understands that, look, we need additional players to be great. Everybody always complains about Cody Martin. People complain about Micic. People complain about Tajon not quite being, and he's a rookie and we knew it was going to take some time. But geez, I like a lot of things Tajon is doing. In fact, he's better than I anticipated. And I think he's improving every game. But it would have been better to feel like we could get a player that's a little more ready. But it is what it is. All these things just point to us trying to play the slow game. And I'm not here for it if slow game's 2-3 years down the line. But I am here for it if, look, we're new, as in the new front office, new coach, new everything, new system, all of that. We're new. Let's see what we got. Let's evaluate our players. Let's, kind of get some of these guys to, off our team, and whether that be trade or whatnot. And then this offseason, we can flirt around with free agency, make a little more money, or not make create a little more money. Have a draft class of Tajon and KJ, who I think KJ's been playing pretty well too. Those are our guys, and then we, another little draft class of our guys that can kind of be our bench. We can live and die by that. That not our, guys off, first guys off the bench, but a little more. You're getting a little more from them as opposed to Cody Martin and these other guys who I think Cody Martin, I've said plenty of times, I'm not the biggest Cody Martin fan, but I will say he's as good as the team is. So if we're missing everybody, it's going to show. And if we have everybody, it's going to show. One of our most healthy games, I think Cody Martin had 20. So that kind of shows you, to me at least, what kind of player he is. But yeah, I think they just want to take it slow. I'm not in for it if it's going to take years. I think that, you go into the draft, get a good player. If you don't get a top 5 pick, and I think that our pick's top 14 protected, so lottery protected. I think if you're not getting top 5, anybody else from there, you take the Cam Johnson approach. You take there's other guys, Keegan Murray. Those are the 2 I use the most. You take that approach. You get the guy that can help you right now. I'm trying to think, did anybody else do that? I can't think off the top of my head, but you do that. You get the guy that's going to help you right now. Don't care about potential down the line and whatnot. You get the guy that can help you right now, and it worked out for those guys. I mean, granted, the Suns were able to somehow, the Suns turned that into Kevin Durant. So, but Cam Johnson was huge for them during their playoff run, just because he's a guy that can come in, shoot threes, play defense. Keegan Murray, we see how he's been for the Kings. So, just getting that guy that, he may not be the flashiest guy, but he's just there to win and there to help progress your team forward. That's what we need to look for if we're not getting a top pick. Or just trade it. I'm very comfortable with that. It's just, I don't know what's going to, the more likely thing is that they're going to keep it. So just let me know what your thoughts are. Sorry, I've been rambling in a while. I haven't recorded in a minute, but just let me know what your thoughts are. Those are just kind of me just spitballing. I think going forward, like I said, I just want to see the team be healthy, play healthy. We'll figure the rest out later, but we cannot even get our top 6 guys on the court in the game at the same time. So, or available at the same time, I should say. So that's what I want to see the most, and then we can worry about X's and O's, and we can worry about, dissecting things later. But if we can just get healthy and just get the continuity together, then I'm more locked in into, okay, we need to upgrade here, we need to do that, we need to do that. But until then, I just need to see people play. And just have everybody together so I know what areas to look at. Some things are obvious, like, big, it's, Mark and Nick back. Still, we need to look at big, at least diversifying that. By that, I mean, add a big that can shoot. We've said that plenty of times. Backup PG, it's still, Tre Mann can do it and has been doing it. But still, it just feels as though once Tre Mann's out, we're done for. And then even then, it's like even Tre Mann, you could tell that his game is elevated when he can have someone on the floor with him as well. It doesn't have to be a ball-dominant guy, but just someone that is more comfortable with the ball in their hand. Desperately need shooting. Especially with Grant out. Seth Curry is not going to be around forever, and it's not like he plays a lot. So we need the shooting. Like, those are things that are obvious. And I think every team wouldn't argue about saying they need, something like that. So I would like to know even more and more in depth of like what this team needs. But you can't know that until we play everybody. But that's it. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time.